So I was talking to my friend earlier, and I was just trying to make conversation with him, and I know he's been trying to sell his side by side, his Polaris Razor, and I was like, oh, did you get around to selling that, or any bites on that, or whatever? And he's like, no, I haven't sold it yet. And he's got an RV that's got like a garage to it to keep that thing in, which is kind of dope. But I was like, oh, so when you sell that, are you going to sell that RV too? You going to get rid of that? Like, what's going on? Because his kids are getting older, and I don't know if they're going to go on as many trips and whatnot. He's like, no, no, I don't think we're going to do that. Unless somebody made us a great offer. Eventually, we'd probably switch it out to one that doesn't have a garage. But, for now, we don't have any plans to do that. And I was like, so, what are taxes like on the RV like that? How's that work? And he was like, taxes? I don't know what you're talking about. And I assumed it was personal property tax. And, in some states you got personal property tax and you got real estate tax. And then and I guess, I don't know how the RVs and travel trailers, I think it's a travel trailer, not an RV. I don't know how they work exactly, but I guess it's something about like you pay your registration fees and your tags or whatever, but that's how the taxes work. You don't pay personal property tax on it, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so I asked him, I was like, oh, because he was a lifelong California resident and now he lives in Idaho. And I was like, so how do the taxes compare in Idaho versus California? You've been in Idaho some years now. Oh, it's night and day. Oh my God, it's so much better. I can't even believe it. I was like, oh, hmm, interesting, because I heard Gavin Newsom just recently talk about how how great the taxes are in California. I'm like, I don't think so, buddy. Maybe, but yeah. So for some reason, that conversation prompted me to think about DeSantis wanting to eliminate what we would call real estate tax. There, they call it property tax or homestead property tax or something. But I was like, okay, I want to look into that because I knew it was going to be several years down the road that he was talking, and what kind of developments have taken place since the last time I heard anything about it. So I looked into it a little bit, and I just wanted to kind of share with you guys.
At a press event in Tampa,
Well, good morning.
Governor Ron DeSantis didn't hold back, slamming the Florida House's new slate of property tax proposals.
They're all milk toast. There's not one proposal that people would get excited about. Not one. So they're total half measures, which is not what people are asking for.
DeSantis says House Republicans are making a mistake, putting too many ideas on the 2026 ballot. He argues multiple measures will confuse voters and make it harder for anyone to hit Florida's 60% approval threshold. Earlier this month, House Speaker Danny Perez announced the 8 proposals, 7 constitutional amendments in one bill, aimed at cutting or capping local property taxes. His plan? Let voters decide which to adopt. Quote, if we have faith in voters to elect us, we should not be afraid to let them be a part of the conversation about the taxes they pay. The package includes everything from phasing out non-school homestead property taxes to new exemptions for seniors and insured homeowners. But DeSantis says he wants something bolder. One amendment focused exclusively on Florida's homesteaded residents only.
It offends me because they think you're stupid enough for them to tell you, oh no, we're supportive of you. We put it up, we put stuff on the ballot, we tried. They can't think you're that stupid, right? They physically can't. So it offends me that they think somehow they could get away with this by doing it. So you do one proposal, right?
The governor says his team is still working out the details, trying to avoid unintended fallout for schools, police, and local budgets, but promises clear, simple ballot language that voters can understand.
Members, the Select Committee on Property Taxes will come to order.
House leaders, meanwhile, aren't backing down. Rep. Toby Overdorf, who co-chairs the House's Property Tax Committee, says voters deserve choices.
Not only do we feel confident about these ideas and where we're going, we feel strong about it. But what we're doing and trying to do is to make sure that the residents of Florida, ultimately the voters, will have the opportunity to make a decision as to what they want to do surrounding their property taxes.
That's as Democrats continue to warn cutting too deep could spell trouble for local governments.
And listen, I get it. We're in an affordability crisis. But to me, this all seems to be a distraction that the Republicans are creating to avoid having to deal with their failed record on the property insurance crisis.
The House proposals are set for hearings in the coming weeks. The governor's competing plan, expected soon, could set up another major showdown between DeSantis and legislative leaders over how far and how fast Florida should go on property tax reform. Another major showdown between DeSantis and legislative leaders over how far.
Don't that dude look so angry? He looks so angry. I don't know. So, I think that it looks to me like they're trying to set up a poison pill, or 7 poison pills in this case, to try to kill this thing, because that's what DeSantis says right here. Placing more than one property tax measure is an attempt to kill anything from getting done. That's right. That's what it looks like to me. You know, this isn't ranked choice voting where, like, you know, you choose from the best 8 and then it goes down to whatever, the top 2, and then you choose from that. No. And even if that were the case, people wouldn't be enthused enough to go back and vote again, you know what I mean, over something like this. I don't like the way they're doing it, and I think that, not to accuse anybody of anything, but it would seem to me that politicians are used to, and people who run governments are used to a certain amount of income coming in, and they don't want to upset that because they've budgeted for this a certain amount, and so they want to, you know, keep the status quo. But I think if recent political developments have shown us anything, it's that people don't want the status quo, do they? They want some change. Whether we agree with the change that people want or not, they want change. They don't want you to just maintain keeping your bloated budgets and wasting our money, right? Our money. And, you know, to me, the argument against it seems to be that rural communities are going to suffer because they won't get the income that they're currently getting. But when I did a little chat GPT, it seems to me that all the money goes to the school district. None of it goes to the local community to run. Not none, but basically none goes to the rural communities to fund their stuff. And so what I say is, you know, fund the school districts elsewhere, some other way, because I know that's flippant to just be like, oh, find the money somewhere else. Yeah, I get it. But the whole reason I looked into this, and the thing that stuck in my head, what DeSantis said originally, was that this is essentially like a tax, or you know, not a tax. I'm sorry. People pay off their house, they get old, and then they're still renting their damn house, and it's not right. And that's exactly what it is. That's exactly how it feels to me. You know, you pay your house off, and then you're still stuck paying like half of your mortgage. What would have been your mortgage with taxes and insurance, cut that in half. That's what you're still paying when you're old and you don't have an income anymore, and it's not right. You know, I mean, my first house was distressed property, and I lived in it for 10 years. And when my wife moved in, I went from barely scraping by, I could barely make the payments, to all of a sudden the income is doubled. And not only could we make the payments easily, but like we could double up on payments if we really wanted to. I would never, you know, want to do that, but I started looking into it. I was like, the mortgage wasn't very high anyway, and maybe we could just pay this house off completely. And that would be so great, right? Own it outright. Well, when I looked at the breakdown of the monthly payments, it was like half of it was going to mortgage and insurance. And I'm like, well, what's the point then? What's the point of paying it off if you still have to pay at least half of it forever? And you know, taxes only go up and insurance only goes up. So really, you're going to be right back where you were eventually. And it's not right. And I agree with DeSantis 100% on this. But he wants to make a full a full measure, I guess I would say, instead of a half measure. And these lawmakers are trying to, as he was putting it, they're trying to make it look like they're doing something for you, when in reality, they're just trying to keep the status quo. That's what I think. That's what I think they're trying to do. I think that's what he thinks they're trying to do. And I think he's probably got the cojones to just be like, I'm going to call you out on this. I know you're not being truthful when you put forward these proposals that you're going to save people money, but you know that none of them are going to pass the way that you did it. That's what I see. That's what I'm seeing. And I hope that he's able to kind of guilt them, I guess, into putting forth a real proposal that actually cuts the property tax, as they call it there, completely for homesteaders. Now, DeSantis was saying that 68 to 70% of all of the property taxes that come in from that state are from Airbnbs and second homes, which Florida is a vacation destination, so that wouldn't be the reality for other states. But this, what is this, a fact-checking site here, PolitiFact, I guess. They said it's mostly true, 64%. So his numbers are just a little bit off. 64%. So Florida can do this, it looks like, and I hope that they do. And I hope that it sets an example for the rest of the country, because I do think that we get old and we're paying rent, and I think it sucks. And if they can do something to fix that for all of us, I mean, some states are definitely not going to enact anything like this. They need that money, or they claim they need that money. They're going to not give up any money. But if DeSantis can get his way in Florida and it works out and everybody's happy, because we've already seen, celebrities and athletes moving to Florida for the taxes. Well, maybe other states can find a way to make this a reality for them too, and we can benefit from that. So that's my hope. That's my thoughts on this, and thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.